Hey guys, welcome to M&M IELTS. Today's video is very important if you are planning to give your exam this year, which is 2024. So my topic is how to clear IELTS in 2024, because a lot of times I've seen that students, when they want to give their IELTS exam, they just go unprepared and they don't get their desired scores, desired band, and then they just get disappointed because they've not achieved what they were expecting, which is also a waste of time and a lot of money because it's an expensive exam. So here are a few tips that I would like to share with all of you, and you should be following them all. So let's get started. The first one is be aware of the IELTS format. It is very important to be aware of the format of your exam. You have to understand what IELTS are you giving, what type of exam will it be, what is the duration of the exam, do you want to give a paper-based test or a computer-based test, what sort of questions you should be expecting, how many sections, what is expected in listening, writing, and reading. Your speaking is done separately, so are you prepared for your speaking? So you have to have a very crystal clear picture of this exam format in your head, because you have to understand one thing, that if you go to the exam and you're not aware of what you are going to face, you might not be able to give your best. Hence, make sure that you do a couple of practice tests and practice exams, so that by the time you have your exam date, you are so well versed with the exam format that you feel very confident in appearing for the test. The next is decide. Very important, deciding whether you need coaching or whether you want to self prepare, and then use the best possible resources. What I'm trying to tell you over here is that a lot of students, they want to self prepare, which is not wrong. If you feel that you can manage it, you are able to do it, then by all means you can do it. But if you feel that you need coaching, you need guidance, you need feedback on regular basis, then you should go for coaching and not self prepare. Every student is different. Do not do something because someone you know is doing it. See what is good for you. Every student has a different level, every student has a different way of learning, understanding things. So don't copy anyone, don't imitate anyone, I would say. Practice for a few days, and if you feel that nah, this is not something I can manage on my own, then please go for help. And if you feel yes, this is something I can manage on my own, then you can self prepare and prepare from the best possible resources. For example, preparing as many Cambridge test papers as you can. So that is what I would advise. Next is start with writing section and speaking. I have seen that a lot of students, most of the students, they struggle with writing and speaking as well. So writing is definitely one of the most difficult sections of this exam. So the more time you give to that difficult section, the better. Hence, you should always start with writing. I have seen a lot of times students start with listening, which is okay, nothing wrong in it, but listening is not as difficult as speaking or writing. So if you don't dedicate that amount of time, the amount of time that you are dedicating to writing and speaking, it is still all right. Hence, start with difficult sections so that you know how much time you need to finish the preparation for your IELTS test. Next is you have to focus on a couple of things. You should make a list of things you feel you need to focus on while preparing for this test. A couple of them I have shared and it's on your screen. It's time management, word limit. Whenever you write, you need to have a proper understanding of word limit. Having introduction and conclusion, whether it is your speaking or whether it is your writing, it is good to have an introduction whenever you begin something and to conclude whenever you're about to end something. Then repetition of words and phrases. Now, whether you speak or whether you write, if you repeat the same words or if you repeat the same phrases again and again, that is definitely one of the reasons that you're not getting your desired band, and you will lose marks because of it. Next is use of long sentences and proofreading. What do you mean by long sentences? This again belongs to speaking and writing. So if somebody is asking you, let's say in your speaking section, what are your hobbies, and you say my hobbies are painting and gardening. That's it. Or sometimes you just say painting and gardening. That is not the way we respond if we want a good score. We have to give a little detailed answer, at least one sentence answer, one little detailed in descriptive answer, whether it is writing or speaking. That's when you get good bands. You can't just answer to the point and like a one word answer and expect good scores. So you have to be like, my hobbies are gardening and listening to music, because I feel that whenever I do these two things, it just helps me calm down and also keeps me motivated and dedicated in life. So this is how you just first answer your question, and then a little bit of reasoning behind it, that why you think that is your answer. These small little things for every question in your speaking, for every question in your writing, helps you to get your desired score. Also, if you look at the other points that I've mentioned, time management, word limit, whenever you are practicing writing, make sure you are looking at the word limit. You're always within your word limit. You're always including your introductions and conclusions. You're always making sure that you use different types of words in your speaking and writing, different types of phrases, and you're not repeating them if you want a good score. And the best way to manage time would be to practice as many exam papers as you can. The next point is focus on your grammar and essays. Now, grammar is both when you speak and write. Even when you're talking, your English grammar is important. You have to be careful of your tenses. You have to be careful of your ing forms, your ed when you're talking. I mean, your past tense, your present continuous, your future tense. These things are very important. Your grammar is important. And essays, because essay is one of those topics where you have to do a lot of work, where you have to write a lot. Hence, you need a lot of practice. So make sure whenever you practice your speaking and writing, your focus is definitely there on essays and grammar. Next thing that I have is, this is one of those most common piece of advice that anybody would give you, but it is important and you should not underrate it. You should not treat it like an underdog. Why? Because listening to podcasts, interviews, and news, why am I asking you to do this, or why am I sharing this with you? It is important that you listen to these audios in different types of voices. So maybe some male voices, some female voices, different types of accents like UK accent, US accent, Asian accent, whatever accents. Like, you should listen to different types of accents and voices, because you need to make sure that your brain is familiarized with several different types of voices, accents. And in exam, when you appear in your listening, or you are doing your listening section, or even when you sit in front of a teacher who is asking you question in IELTS for your speaking section, you should feel confident because you've done so much of homework as a preparation. So listen to these podcasts, look at the interviews, because it is sometimes very boring to prepare for these exams. So what you can do is, I mean, there's YouTube, there's internet, there's so much out there. Watch interviews of any celebrity you like, in English though. So any celebrity, it can be any sports star, it can be any movie star. Watch their interviews in English. Watch, some art. I mean, listen to some podcasts in English. What happens is, when you listen to someone, you learn more. I feel when you listen to someone, when you look at someone talking, and if somebody especially is your role model, and you listen to that person, you grasp more out of those people. And the moment you like something that they say, just write it down. For example, the other day I was watching an interview, and someone said that I was at the lowest of my life while I was going through this phase. And when you're at the lowest of your life, the only way out is upwards. So after that, my growth started. And I was so fascinated with this statement, that yes, it does make sense. And it's such an in-depth understanding or ideology. These sentences, they help you understand the maturity of IELTS exam, because IELTS is not about templates and memorizing the answers and just, presenting those answers that you've memorized. the more you understand how people express themselves, the more you learn from them, it becomes easy for you to express in the similar manner. Also, what you can do is while you're working out or you're doing any household chores, you can listen to news if you like, because when you listen to news, you learn so many new words. And the moment you learn something new, you should immediately write it down, especially if you like something. Write it down, write it multiple times, because that will help you to understand the meaning of that word or phrase or a sentence. And also try and deliberately make a use of those words and phrases in your everyday life so that you don't forget them, because if you just listen to someone and never use it, then you will definitely forget in a very short period of time. The next thing is read books, newspapers, and articles. I feel I personally learn more when I watch something, let's say if it's a movie or if it's a song or if I'm listening to someone, as in some interview, I learn more compared to reading. But then there are people who learn more when they read, which is absolutely fine. Again, as I mentioned, everybody is different, and you have to figure out what is your comfort zone, what do you prefer. And the moment you identify that this is what I prefer, I'm a person who can read as much as, like let's say 15 pages a day. I can read easily 15 pages a day, and out of 15 pages I can at least select 15 words or 10 words every day, or 10 phrases that I can use in my IELTS test, and I will create a list of those words, phrases, sentences, so that I can use it in my speaking, I can use it in my writing. If that helps you, go for it. If reading newspapers or articles, magazines, anything is helping you, go for it. Because again, it is about helping yourself, and you can only help yourself when you identify what is the best and easiest possible way to help yourself. So try both these methods out, listening and reading, and see which one is better for you. Do it more, and the other one, do it often if you like, and that's how you will learn a lot of words. Your vocabulary will be so rich that you will feel so confident while you talk in your speaking test or while you write during your writing test. These tips, they are extremely important, and you should follow them all so that you can clear your exam in 2024 in the first attempt. All the best.